of old pain pressing down. Harper noticed the change immediately, her eyes darkening with concern. "What is it?" Sophie hesitated, then showed her the message. It was just a simple text, but it carried the thread of everything they'd been fighting against. Harper pulled Sophie close, voice fierce. "You're not alone. Not anymore." Sophie nodded, drawing strength from Harper's presence, but deep inside, the fight was far from over. They were building something fragile, a second chance at love, and it would take everything they had to protect it. The farmhouse grew quieter as twilight settled, the golden hues of the day melting into deep blues and purples. Sophie and Harper sat close on the creaky porch swing, the night air thick with cicadas' song and the scent of honeysuckle. Harper reached out, tracing Sophie's hand with slow, deliberate movements. "We have to face it," she said softly. "The past, the people who don't want us to be happy." Sophie sighed, the tension in her shoulders easing as she leaned into Harper's warmth. "I'm scared. What if Jason tries to pull me back into that mess? What if I'm not strong enough?" "You are," Harper said with conviction, eyes shining in the moonlight. "Stronger than you know. And I'm here, every step, every battle." The honesty between them felt like a lifeline, a tether pulling Sophie from the edge of her fears. Later, inside the house, they sorted through old letters and photos, remnants of Sophie's life before Harper. Each memory was a thread, some frayed, some golden, that they wove into their shared story. Harper smiled at a candid picture of Sophie laughing, hair wild in the summer wind. "You've always been this beautiful, inside and out." Sophie's eyes glistened, touched by the gentle acceptance. "I just needed someone to see me." "You're seen," Harper whispered, brushing a tear from Sophie's cheek. The night stretched on as they talked of hopes and fears, dreams and doubts. The kind of talk that builds bridges and breaks down walls. But even in this haven, Sophie's phone buzzed again. Another message, this one from a friend, cautioning her about Jason's intentions. Her heart pounded with the old anxiety. Harper wrapped an arm around her, steady and protective. "We'll handle it. Together." Days turned into weeks. The summer's heat softened, and with it, Sophie's walls crumbled. Harper's presence was a balm, a reminder that love could be patient, kind, and healing. One evening, under a sky painted with fireworks from a distant town festival, Harper took Sophie's hand in hers. "Will you come to the festival with me tomorrow? Let's show the world we're not afraid." Sophie hesitated, the fear flickering in her eyes. "Only if you want to," Harper added quickly. "No pressure." But Sophie's smile was genuine, the promise of courage blooming within her. "Okay," she said. "Let's be brave." As they watched the stars explode in color above, Sophie felt something shift, a new chapter beginning, fragile but real. The morning sun filtered softly through the curtains, casting warm patterns across the floor of Sophie's room. She woke with Harper's arm draped over her waist, steady and comforting. For the first time in weeks, Sophie felt a quiet sense of peace. Later that day, they headed to the town's summer festival, a burst of color, laughter, and possibility. The streets buzzed with energy, children chasing bubbles, couples swaying to live music, vendors selling everything from handmade jewelry to sweet-smelling kettle corn. Hand in hand, Sophie and Harper wove through the crowd, each smile they exchanged a small act of defiance against fear and past shadows. Harper's eyes were bright with pride as she squeezed Sophie's hand. "This is us," Harper said softly. "No hiding. No apologies." Sophie's heart fluttered, the words sinking in like sunlight after a storm. They stopped at a booth where a local artist painted quick portraits. Harper nudged Sophie playfully. "Let's get one for us." A reminder. The artist captured their intertwined hands, their smiles, and the sparkle in their eyes, a quiet celebration of love found and fought for. As evening fell, Sophie noticed whispers and sideways glances from some festival goers, a reminder that not everyone in town was ready to accept their love. But Harper stood firm, protective and unwavering. When a group of teenagers jeered nearby, Sophie's first instinct was to pull away, but Harper tightened her grip and whispered, "We belong here. Together." That night, under a canopy of stars, they found a quiet hill overlooking the town's shimmering lights. Sophie leaned against Harper, her fears melting into the cool night breeze. "I'm still scared," she admitted. "But with you, the fear doesn't feel so big." Harper kissed her forehead. "Fear doesn't have to disappear to be brave. We keep going, even with it." They stayed there, wrapped in each other's arms, the world vast and uncertain but somehow a little less lonely. The summer's end was approaching, but Sophie knew this was just the beginning, of love, of courage, of living their truth out loud. The next morning, Sophie awoke to the gentle hum of birds outside her window. Harper was already up, sitting by the small desk with a sketchbook, her brow furrowed in concentration. The soft glow of dawn framed her silhouette like a promise. Sophie watched quietly for a moment, the peacefulness between them a stark contrast to the whirlwind of the past weeks. Slowly, she slid out of bed and crossed the room, settling beside Harper. "You still sketch?" Sophie asked, her voice gentle. Harper looked up, a shy smile tugging at her lips. "I do. It helps me think, helps me feel." Sophie reached for Harper's hand, tracing the delicate lines of a half-finished drawing, a pair of hands intertwined, much like theirs. It was simple, yet it captured everything. "I want to learn more about you," Sophie said softly. "Not just the parts you show the world, but everything." Harper's eyes shone, and for the first time, the wall she'd built began to crumble. They spent the morning sharing stories, about childhood dreams, fears, favorite songs, and moments that had shaped them. Every word was a thread weaving their lives closer together. Later, as the day warmed, they walked to the edge of town where the old lighthouse stood sentinel over the sea. It was a place of quiet reflection, of new beginnings. At the base of the lighthouse, Harper pulled Sophie close, her voice barely a whisper. "I want us to keep growing. To keep fighting for this." Sophie nodded, heart pounding. "Me too." Together, they climbed the spiraling stairs to the top. The ocean stretched endlessly before them, vast and beautiful, full of unknowns but brimming with hope. From their vantage point, Sophie realized something profound: love, like the sea, was unpredictable and sometimes stormy. But it was also breathtakingly powerful and worth every risk. Harper reached into her pocket and pulled out a small, folded piece of paper. "I've been carrying this with me." Sophie unfolded it to find a ticket, a plane ticket for a summer art program in a city miles away, months away. Harper's dream. "I want you to come with me," Harper said, her voice steady but vulnerable. "Not to leave what we have behind, but to build on it, to learn, to grow, and to be seen." Sophie's eyes filled with tears, not from fear, but from the courage it took to leap together into the unknown. "Yes," she said firmly. "We'll take that leap. Together." As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Sophie and Harper stood hand in hand, ready to face whatever came next. No longer two separate lives hiding in the shadows, but one story, unfolding, bold, unashamed, and fiercely alive.